The most powerful man on earth chose silence. Marcus Aurelius commanded the Roman Empire. Millions obeyed his words. Yet every day he warned himself to speak less, not because he had nothing to say, but because he understood something most people never will. In a noisy world, those who talk the most reveal the least control. Every unnecessary word leaks power. Every emotional reaction exposes weakness. And every argument you rush to win quietly costs you authority. Marcus Aurelius knew this. That's why he listened more than he spoke, observed more than he reacted, and waited, while others revealed themselves. Because silence does something dangerous. It creates pressure, it creates mystery, and it forces the loud to expose their true intentions. In a room full of voices, the quiet man doesn't compete. He controls the room. Part 1. The Stoic Truth About Silence. Before Marcus Aurelius became emperor, he was trained to do something most people fear: to remain silent. Not empty silence, not passive silence, but disciplined silence. In his private journal Meditations, he wrote a rule for himself, not for others: be silent for the most part, or speak only what is necessary. This was not philosophy for decoration. It was survival. Rome was full of gossip, betrayal, ambition, and ego. One careless sentence could cost a life. Here is the Stoic truth most people never learn. Silence is not avoidance. Silence is control. When you speak, you reveal your inner state, your fears, your desires, your intentions. Psychologists today confirm what the Stoics knew 2,000 years ago. People who speak impulsively are perceived as less competent and less authoritative. A 2014 study from Harvard showed that leaders who pause before speaking are rated 23% higher in confidence than those who respond immediately. Say this with me: words reveal your mind. Silence protects your power. Marcus Aurelius observed that when people talk too much, they leak emotions. They expose strategy. They lose leverage. That is why Stoicism teaches restraint. Not suppression, but selection. Speak only when your words improve the situation or improve your character. Breathe for a moment. Let that sink in. In modern life, silence feels uncomfortable. Meetings feel awkward. Conversations feel incomplete. But that discomfort is exactly where power lives. Seneca once warned, nature gave us one tongue and two ears so we could listen twice as much as we speak. Yet today, the average person speaks over 16,000 words per day, most of them unnecessary. Here is a practical exercise. For the next 24 hours, remove one sentence from every conversation. Pause instead. Observe how people react. You will notice something strange: others begin to talk more. They fill the space. They reveal themselves. Marcus Aurelius mastered this. He listened while others rushed to impress. He waited while others overreacted. He wrote to himself, "You always own the option of having no opinion." Silence preserved that option. Remember this: the goal is not to be quiet. The goal is to be deliberate. In the next part, we will go deeper into why silence does something unsettling to people, why the quiet ones are often feared, and how silence creates authority without force. Stay with me. Part 2, why the quiet ones are feared. Fear does not come from noise. It comes from uncertainty. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. In the Roman Empire, the loudest voices were rarely the most dangerous ones. The real threat was always the man who watched quietly, who spoke little, and who revealed nothing too soon. Those who speak constantly are trying to control the room through sound. They explain, defend, justify, and react. But in doing so, they expose their position. They show their emotional state. They give others information. The quiet ones do the opposite. They create space. And space makes people uncomfortable. Say it with me: silence creates mystery. Mystery creates authority. Modern psychology confirms what the Stoics already knew. Research on power dynamics shows that people who speak less, but with intention, are perceived as more intelligent, more confident, and more dominant. In negotiation studies, silence after a question increases concession rates by up to 30%. When you don't rush to speak, the other person feels pressure to fill the gap, often revealing more than they intended. Pause here. Take a breath. Marcus Aurelius trained himself not to react immediately, even when insulted or challenged. He wrote, "If someone despises me, that is their problem. My only concern is not doing anything deserving of contempt." Silence protected his dignity and forced others to confront their own behavior. Think about modern leaders, generals, or strategists. The most powerful rarely speak impulsively. They listen. They let others talk themselves into mistakes. Silence becomes a mirror. People reveal who they are when you stop interrupting them. Here's a practical example. In high-level meetings, the person who speaks last often controls the outcome. Why? Because they absorb every argument, every emotion, every weakness before responding. Silence allows you to see the full battlefield. Exercise for you in your next conversation: resist the urge to explain yourself. After making a point, stop talking. Count to 5 in your head. Watch what happens. Most people will feel compelled to respond and often overshare. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, you don't need to defend yourself against every attack. Silence was his shield. Remember this: people fear what they cannot read, and silence makes you unreadable. In the next part, we will turn silence inward, not as a social weapon, but as the ultimate tool of self-mastery. Because the hardest silence to hold is not with others, it is with yourself. Stay with me. Part 3, Silence as Self-Mastery. The hardest silence is not the silence you keep with others. It is the silence you keep with yourself. Marcus Aurelius lived at the center of chaos: wars at the borders, plagues in the cities, betrayal inside his own court. Every day he was surrounded by noise, demands, opinions, criticism, praise. Yet again and again in his private writings, he returned to one discipline above all others: control of the inner voice. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." For the Stoics, silence was not social politeness. It was self-mastery. Say it with me: silence is control under pressure. Most people think strength is reacting fast, defending yourself immediately, proving you are right. But Marcus Aurelius understood a deeper truth: the moment you react emotionally, you surrender control. Your emotions decide for you. Silence interrupts that process. Modern neuroscience confirms this ancient insight. When you experience anger or insult the amygdala, the emotional center of the brain fires instantly. But if you delay reaction for even 6 to 10 seconds, the prefrontal cortex regains influence. Logic returns. Choice returns. Silence gives your mind time to come back online. Pause here. Take a slow breath. Marcus Aurelius practiced this daily. When insulted, he did not rush to correct. When criticized, he did not rush to defend. He wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." Silence creates space to change that estimate. This is why silence is so difficult. It forces you to sit with discomfort. It denies the ego its favorite drug expression: complaining, justifying, explaining. But every time you resist that urge, you win a small internal battle. Over time, these small victories compound. Think of silence as a muscle. At first it shakes, it feels unnatural, but with repetition it becomes strength. Each moment of restraint sharpens discipline. Each moment of quiet builds emotional endurance. Epictetus captured this perfectly when he said, "If you wish to improve, be content to appear clueless or stupid in extraneous matters." Silence allows you to learn instead of perform. Say it again. Silence is strength under control. Here is a Stoic practice you can apply immediately. Before speaking in moments of emotion, ask yourself 3 questions. Is this necessary? Is this true? Is this within my control? If the answer is no, remain silent. This single filter can prevent countless regrets. Marcus Aurelius also understood that inner silence leads to clarity. When the mind is noisy, judgment becomes distorted. When the mind is calm, decisions become precise. That is why he wrote, "At night alone, stripping away the noise of the day." In modern life, this matters more than ever. We live in an economy of reaction. Social media rewards outrage. Work culture rewards instant replies. But Stoicism reminds us that speed is not wisdom. Restraint is. Practice one intentional silence each day. One moment where you choose not to react, not to comment, not to correct. Just observe. Over time, you will notice fewer emotional spirals, fewer regrets, and a stronger sense of presence. This is not withdrawal from life. It is command of life. Marcus Aurelius did not become powerful by dominating others. He became powerful by governing himself. And the same discipline is available to you. In the next part, we will move outward, how to apply this inner silence strategically in conversations, conflict, and negotiation without manipulation or ego. Stay with me. Part 4, practical lessons you can apply today. Silence only becomes power when it is used correctly. Marcus Aurelius did not retreat from the world. He engaged with it quietly, deliberately, and with discipline. This part is about application. Let us begin with insult. When someone disrespects you, your nervous system wants immediate defense, to explain, to correct, to strike back. But Marcus Aurelius warned himself, the best way to avenge yourself is not to become like the wrongdoer. Silence breaks the emotional loop. Studies in conflict resolution show that delayed responses reduce escalation by more than 40%. When you pause, you deny the conflict fuel. Say it with me when insulted, pause. Pause here. Breathe slowly. Now anger. Anger thrives on speed. Silence introduces friction. Even a 10-second delay lowers heart rate and cortisol levels, significantly allowing rational control to return. Marcus Aurelius practiced this daily. He understood that anger multiplies problems, silence contains them. Next, negotiation. In business and relationships, silence is leverage. Research from Columbia University reveals that negotiators who remain silent after making an offer are more likely to receive favorable counteroffers. Silence creates pressure. The other party feels compelled to fill the space. Marcus Aurelius ruled this way. He did not bark commands, he waited. Others adjusted. Say it again. Silence applies pressure without force. Pause. Let that settle. Now uncertainty. When you do not know what to say nothing. Marcus Aurelius wrote, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Silence protects you from regret. In a world addicted to instant response, restraint becomes rare and therefore valuable. Consider social media. Every post is permanent. Every reaction is a signal of character. Silence here is reputation management. Studies on digital credibility show that individuals who post less, but with intention, are perceived as more thoughtful and trustworthy. Now, leadership. The most effective leaders speak last. They listen first. They allow others to reveal ideas, fears, and motivations. Silence turns information into advantage. Exercise 1, the 5-second rule. After making a point, stop talking. Count to 5 internally. Observe. Most people will continue speaking, often revealing more than planned. Exercise 2, the strategic delay. When emotionally triggered, wait 1 hour before responding. Most conflicts dissolve without words. Exercise 3, the daily silence window. Choose 10 minutes per day with no input, no phone, no speech, just observation. This trains internal discipline. Marcus Aurelius mastered these practices without modern tools. He wrote at night alone to strip away noise. Silence was his mental reset. Say this with me, silence is not absence. It is presence. Over time, silence changes how people treat you. They listen more closely. They project strength onto you. You become harder to manipulate. This is not manipulation. It is clarity. In the final part, we will step back and examine the Stoic legacy, how silence allowed Marcus Aurelius to rule an empire, and why this ancient discipline still dominates modern minds. Stay with me. Part 5. The Stoic legacy. Marcus Aurelius ruled the most powerful empire on earth, but history does not remember him for conquest. It remembers him for control. While other emperors raised their voices, Marcus Aurelius lowered his. While others ruled through fear, he ruled through restraint. And that difference is why his name survived long after their noise disappeared. He never intended to be famous. Meditations was not written for the public. It was a private conversation with himself. A record of discipline. A reminder to remain calm in a world that constantly tried to provoke him. He wrote, begin the morning by saying to yourself, I shall meet busybody, the ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, envious, unsocial. And yet he did not respond with bitterness. He responded with silence, reflection, and duty. Pause here. Breathe. This is the heart of the Stoic legacy: power without spectacle. Marcus Aurelius ruled during relentless crises, war on multiple borders, a devastating plague that killed millions, political pressure from every direction. Yet historical records describe him as composed, measured, and steady. Why? Because silence gave him clarity when others drowned in reaction. Modern leadership research confirms this pattern. Leaders with high emotional regulation outperform reactive leaders by over 30% in long-term outcomes. The Stoics call this hegemonikon, the ruling mind. Control the mind and you control the outcome. Say it with me, mastery of self comes before mastery of the world. Marcus Aurelius understood that true authority does not demand attention. It commands respect. He wrote, "Never esteem anything as of advantage to you that will make you break your word or lose your self-respect." Silence protected his integrity. Think about our world today. Outrage is currency. Noise is rewarded. Reaction is instant. And yet, who do we trust? Who do we remember? Not the loudest voice. The calmest presence. Silence today is not weakness. It is rebellion. It is clarity in a culture addicted to stimulation. When you speak less, your words carry weight. When you react less, your presence grows stronger. Marcus Aurelius did not withdraw from responsibility. He faced it head-on without theatrics, without ego. Silence became the space where wisdom could speak. Reset here. Inhale slowly. Exhale. This legacy is not ancient history. It is a living discipline. Every time you choose silence instead of outrage, you continue this tradition. Every time you pause instead of react, you align with a 2,000-year lineage of self-mastery. The Stoics believed that external power fades, but internal discipline endures. Empires fall, reputations shift, but character remains. Marcus Aurelius mastered the world because he mastered himself. And this is the lesson he leaves you not as philosophy, but as instruction. Speak less, observe more, react with intention. Remember this final truth: the loud seek attention, the silent command respect. If you carry this lesson forward, you do not need to announce it. Others will feel it. If silence is power, then knowledge is your weapon. Like this video if you value self-mastery. Subscribe to Making Life Better for more Stoic wisdom that sharpens your mind and strengthens your discipline. Share this with someone who talks too much. And now one last challenge. Comment one word that represents true strength. Type silence. Because remember, the loud seek attention, the silent command respect.